Welcome to our channel where we dive deep into topics related to personal growth and self-discovery. In this video, we will explore the beauty in finding purpose in your pain. We occasionally feel pain that feels intolerable. We could feel lost, isolated, and emptied as a result. But it's precisely when we're feeling hopeless that we need to cling to optimism and look for the beauty in our suffering. Finding meaning in our pain enables us to become more resilient and strong than ever. Pain frequently presents a chance for development and change. It can guide us on a journey of self-discovery and assist us in discovering the purpose of our existence. We learn more about who we are and the world around us by accepting the lessons that come with our grief. A change of viewpoint is necessary to find meaning in our suffering. We must have the ability to see challenges as opportunities rather than roadblocks. By doing this, we allow ourselves to be open to fresh opportunities and experiences that may help us develop into our best selves. In the end, finding meaning in your suffering enables you to transform your weaknesses into strengths and live a more contented life. Finding beauty in your life's path depends on how you define pain and purpose. Although pain is an unpleasant feeling that we frequently strive to avoid or dismiss, it may also serve as a catalyst for development and transformation. Pain can be either physical or mental, acute or chronic, but it always has the capacity to make us stronger people. On the other hand, purpose is the driving force behind all of our actions. It provides our lives purpose and direction. You can explore a universe of opportunities when you identify what pain means to you and find meaning in it. Take charge of your life and use your experiences as fuel for personal development rather than feeling like a victim of events beyond your control. You may give your hardships and obstacles significance and enable them to contribute significantly to your individual tale by giving them meaning. In conclusion, defining pain and purpose requires more than just comprehending these impersonal ideas. It also requires realizing their influence within us. When we use our suffering as a springboard for improvement and discover meaning in our journey, we develop a sense of fulfillment that transcends enjoyment and achievement. Because they are crucial components of the strong people with profound tales we are becoming, we find beauty in the messy portions of life. Finding meaning in your suffering requires you to first acknowledge your emotions. It denotes that you are allowing yourself to experience the entire range of negative emotions, including sadness, anger, fear, and frustration. You are confirming your experience and granting yourself permission to digest what has happened by acknowledging these sentiments. We run the risk of burying our feelings deep inside of us, where they might fester and result in unresolved emotional trauma, when we push through them without first addressing them. This can cause issues later on when those suppressed emotions ultimately come to the surface. On the other side, by recognizing our emotions, we may better understand who we are and what we have gone through. By assisting us in comprehending why we might be feeling a certain way in reaction to a specific event, it creates opportunities for development and healing. Ultimately, we become resilient and discover beauty in finding meaning in our suffering when we accept our feelings rather than avoiding them or outright rejecting their presence. When we experience adversity in life, it's common for us to be entirely engulfed by the agony and search for any bright spots. However, changing your perspective can enable you to appreciate the value of giving your suffering a meaning. Try concentrating on what you can learn from your position rather than obsessing on the cons. Maybe going through this terrible period is teaching you to be resilient, patient, or to have empathy for others who are going through the same things. You can come upon new talents or abilities that you never would have otherwise known about. Finding meaning in your suffering may also inspire you to support people going through comparable difficulties and improve their lives. It's crucial to keep in mind that changing your perspective requires time and work. It's not about downplaying or minimizing the challenges you're up against, but rather about seeing them as a chance for development and change. With some practice, this mental shift can give you a renewed sense of hope and thankfulness. We occasionally encounter situations that are painful since life is not always easy. But it's critical to keep in mind that each experience we have serves a purpose. We should embrace the trip and attempt to find significance in our suffering rather than obsessing on the bad parts of our challenges. Thinking back on the lessons we've taken away from our experiences is one approach to achieve this. Every obstacle we overcome teaches us something new about ourselves and aids in our personal development. We can start to appreciate the beauty in our problems if we concentrate on these teachings rather than the pain itself. In the end, accepting the trip entails acknowledging that life won't always be simple but remaining confident in the fact that everything occurs for a reason. It necessitates a change in attitude and the ability to value both the positive and negative experiences along the journey. It is simpler to move through the difficulties of life with grace and fortitude when we can find meaning in our suffering. Life can be difficult and overwhelming at times. Sadness, rage, anxiety, and fear are examples of emotions that can dominate your thoughts and behavior. You can use these emotions as a strong weapon to find meaning in your suffering by channeling them. The procedure entails accepting your feelings and utilizing them to motivate constructive life choices. It's important to keep in mind that finding meaning in suffering is not simple or quick. To acquire this mindset, one must put forth time and effort. Once accepted, though, it gives people the power to learn from their experiences. They discover how to apply this information as motivation for accomplishing their objectives. People can interact with others more effectively by controlling their emotions. They develop greater empathy and compassion by becoming more aware of the emotions of those around them, which helps them to better support others in trying circumstances. People become aware of their shared humanity's experience of suffering and growth through this link, which fosters a sense of community that helps them see that they are not alone in their challenges. Finding a meaning for your suffering requires taking action. It's simple to become mired in a cycle of depressing thoughts and feelings when you're going through a difficult period. However, making a conscious effort to advance can assist in shifting your attention from the suffering to growth and healing. It might be as easy as keeping a notebook, scheduling a session with a therapist, or asking a dependable friend for help. Whatever course of action you decide, keep in mind that every little step counts, even if it initially seems like progress is moving slowly. Investigating new pastimes or enjoyable pursuits is another method to act when dealing with discomfort. Painting, writing, or musical expression are examples of creative activities that can help people express themselves and let go of bottled-up feelings. Similar to this, engaging in physical activities like yoga or running can be advantageous for the body and the mind. Instead of allowing bad experiences to define who you are, you can actively seek out possibilities for personal development and fulfillment. Grief is a complicated emotion that has a wide range of possible expressions. Using creative tools to express sadness is one of the most effective ways to do it. Individuals who express their grief creatively, whether through writing, art, or music, can learn to deal with their loss and find meaning in their suffering. Writing can be a therapeutic tool for some people to work through their feelings. Writing poetry, stories, or journal entries about their mourning experience enables them to examine their emotions and acquire understanding of how they are dealing. Additionally, effective means of self-expression, painting and sketching allow one to transform sad experiences into something beautiful. Another approach to use one's emotions to spark creativity is through music. A sense of release and relief can be felt when singing or playing an instrument that is related to the grief process. Finding meaning in one's grief ultimately involves using it as motivation for personal growth and healing via creative expression rather than trying to erase the hurt. A lovely process that enables people to connect with their inner selves and find meaning in their suffering is finding strength in vulnerability. We give ourselves the chance for development and healing when we allow ourselves to be exposed. To face our demons head-on requires guts, yet doing so is rewarded with a sense of freedom and renewed vigor. People frequently mistake vulnerability for weakness rather than bravery. But it's crucial to realize that being open about our challenges and asking for assistance when necessary entails being vulnerable. We don't have to go through this alone or keep saying things are fine when they aren't. Instead, we can accept our weaknesses as a natural aspect of being human and use them to propel personal development. Ultimately, developing self-compassion and acceptance is necessary to finding strength in vulnerability. By realizing that our imperfections are what define us as individuals and human beings, we can learn to be kinder to ourselves. We become more resilient emotionally and mentally as we face life's problems with an open heart, and we learn more about our true purpose as a result of our experiences. Even if it seems paradoxical, there is beauty in giving your suffering a meaning. It can be simple to ignore the positive parts of adversity and forget that every challenge offers a chance for development and education. We can gain insightful understandings that can direct us towards a more fulfilled existence by taking a step back and reflecting on our experiences. Finding our greater purpose is one way to see the beauty in our suffering.